Hi everyone, welcome to Amala Movements. I'm Charlotte. Today we have yoga for the feet. So this practice will flow through a series of foot, ankle and toe mobilisations to release any tension, not only in the feet, but the whole of the body and mind. Let's get started. We're going to begin today's practice standing, and today really I want to invite you to take your socks off. Of course, this is your choice. I respect everything, but yes, just knowing that with bare feet you really have the opportunity to enhance your practice, to find a sense of ground, to find these juicy mobilizations of the feet, ankle and toes, which is what we're after today. So when you're ready, join me in standing in a variation of mountain pose. So our feet are going to be hip distance apart, toes under the hips, finding a slight bend in your knees and resting your left hand on your chest and your right hand on your lower belly. So let's begin by perhaps exaggerating this gentle bend in the knees and by finding this softness in the joints, we're able to continue the cycle of energy that's constantly flowing around the body. I invite you to gently close the eyes as we move into a short standing awareness meditation. So as the breath begins to deepen and as the breath begins to soften, can you send your awareness over to your right foot? You don't need to change anything or do anything more than you're already doing. You're already doing enough. But just starting to notice your right foot. And if your right foot was to leave a footprint in the ground that is underneath you, can you imagine what the shape or the texture of the footprint would look like? So perhaps are you sending your weight further onto your heels or on your toes? On the right side, the outside of your foot, or the left side, the inside of your foot? There's something so beautiful in just slowing down and taking the time to notice, and that in itself can make so many changes. Awareness bringing the change. And let's let go of the right foot and now shifting your attention to your left foot. So again, you don't need to change anything or do anything extra, but rather just notice how your left foot is standing today. And if your left foot was to leave a footprint beneath you, what would the shape, size and texture be? Are you sending your weight further over your left toes or your left heel? The outside, so the left side of your left foot, or the inside, the right side of your left foot? And it's inevitable that the footprint of the left foot and the footprint of the right foot are going to be different, so embrace that change. Allowing all of your toes to soften and to melt down into the earth beneath you. Taking a final cycle of breath. Keep your soft bend in your knees and slowly start to blink the eyes open. Come back into the space that you're in. Notice how you feel just for a moment. And let's bring our hands to our hips. Great. Coming onto the ball of your right foot, so lifting your right heel away from the earth and taking some circles. So finding that full mobilization in the joints. Circling the heel one way and circling the other way. And find a rhythm, find a tempo that works for you. Maybe today, moving really slowly and indulging in all the intricate details might feel really good, or you might prefer, in the body and the mind, the faster paced movement. Great, let's lower that down and lift the left heel away from the floor. And when you're ready, find some mobilization. So circling the ankle, the toes stay down, the ball of the foot stays on the floor. It's just the heel that is finding a circle. And let's go the other way. Great. Lowering the left heel to the earth, bringing both hands to rest on your belly. So this is our stabilizing point, our tree trunk. Can you lift all of your toes away from the earth? Spread them as wide as you can. And then gently, delicately lowering all of the toes back down, keeping them as wide as possible. And then the opposite, so lifting your heels away from the earth. You might feel a bit wobbly. You can go as high or low as you like, with control and a softness, lowering the heels back down. We're just going to continue with this rocking motion. So lifting your toes away, spreading them as wide as you can, and then softly melting them back down, lifting your heels away, softly melting the heels back down. One more. Toes away, spreading, widening, and lower, and the heels, and lower. Okay. So this is a really great way just to help yourself feel centered and grounded and really on your feet, as it were. So I'm going to turn to the side. You can stay facing the direction you're facing, bringing your hands to your hips, bending both of your knees. Feet are directly underneath your hips. Lifting your right heel away from the earth beneath you. So I've got the ball of my foot really pressing down, and with control, taking your time with this movement, I'm going to rock over onto my toes so that the tip of my toes or the top of my foot can start to find the earth. Sliding this foot further back, keeping the top of the feet pressing down, bending both of your knees, and just finding a movement, a rock or a sway that works for you. So you might feel quite tight in the top of this right foot. We're really getting in to the front of the right ankle, the front of the foot, and the front of the toes. So be kind to yourself. Be gentle with your movements. So the introducing a rock and a sway helps to feel out how are we feeling today? How are we feeling with this probably quite new movement? And then we find stillness so that we can breathe. Send your weight forwards, further over your left toes. So you can roll over your right toes and plant your right heel behind you for our warrior one. So place your hands wherever you like, whatever makes sense for you today. The focus here is on the feet, grounding down through the right heel, stretching out through the calf, opening up the back of the right ankle. Draw your belly button in, gently guiding your right hip forwards. And we're going to come up onto our right toes, so the ball of the foot. Send your weight forwards over the left leg. Lift your right heel away from the floor and come all the way up onto the ball of your foot. Start to straighten both legs and find a stretch that works for you. So depending on how much space, the flexibility you have in the feet, less so, you can come further forwards, maybe bend the left knee. If you've got more space, send your weight further back, lifting through the chest. Both legs are straight. And then with control, stepping your right foot, up to meet your left. Pausing for a moment, notice how you feel. Your right foot may be like pulsing, all of this energy, focus and blood being sent to the toes and the ankles. And let's take the other side. So starting by bending the knees, lifting your left heel away from the earth. And when you're ready to gently and mindfully rock over your left toes, so the top of the foot finds the mat or the earth, and then sliding or gently stepping the left leg further back. Bending both of your knees and finding a rock forwards and back or a sway from side to side. So just like we began with our standing awareness meditation, can you keep this awareness in your feet? Keeping this awareness of sensation and how you're feeling. And when you're ready, soften into stillness, breathing into the top of your left ankle, the top of the left foot. Sending your weight forwards over your right toes and rolling over the left ankle, the left foot, so that you can ground down through your left heel behind us. So today, really emphasizing the connection you have between your left foot and the earth. So if that means stepping your feet closer together so that you can feel supported, I really invite you to go to that place of support today. Finding a softness in your right knee, squeezing your left hip towards the front of the mat. Great. Shifting your weight forwards over your right foot so you can lift your left heel away from the mat and really emphasizing this lift of the left heel so you're really over the ball of your left foot. Figure out where you are today, figure out what works. For a softer stretch, stay bent in your right knee with your weight moving forwards. If you've got the space in the ankles and toes, work towards straightening the legs and perhaps sending your weight ever so slightly further back so you're pressing more into your left foot than your right. Great, and when you're ready with control, joining your feet together, planting your left foot next to your right, taking a moment just to notice whatever it is you notice. Bringing your feet hip distance apart and your hands to your lower back. Roll the shoulders backwards. Inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, bend the knees. Tuck your chin. Slide your hands down the backs of your legs and come into a forward fold. Bend the knees, bend the knees, bend the knees. So my hands are guiding themselves towards the backs of my legs. Relaxing my head down. Depending where you are on your journey today, you might be able to reach the calves, in which case, give them a squeeze. Your hands might be further up at your hamstrings, in which case, give them a squeeze. You can reach the backs of your ankles, Give them a squeeze. If you're able to reach your ankles today, help yourself get there by really bending your knees. Be generous with this bend. We're looking to find an L shape with our hands, so between your index finger and your thumb. Bend your knees, and this L shape is going to cup the front of your ankle. Bend your knees even more. Exhale. Inhale, work towards straightening the legs and using this L shape of the hands to encourage a softness in the front of your ankle. Exhale, bending the knees, finding a softness in the front of the ankle. Inhale, straighten, relaxing the neck. Exhale, bending the knees. So you can push quite generously with the arms, with the L shape between your thumb and your index finger. Keeping this movement going, you might notice the tendons at the front of the ankle pinging up as you bend the knees. But this is where we're working to release this tension, to remind our feet and ankles that we can find softness when they're working. Excellent. And next time you bend your knees, you're going to bend all the way down, coming into a low squat. Bring your hands to the earth in front of you. Drop your chin down towards your chest. Knees pointing forwards over the toes. Your heels can come away from the earth. Allow yourself to let go, to really release in this moment. If your balance is feeling unbalanced today, take your left hand away from the floor, stay rounded in the spine, and use it to cup your left ankle, gently squeezing around your left heel, the sole of your left foot, bringing some warmth, awareness and sensation to that area. And then lowering that left hand down, and then the same on the right, squeezing the back of the right ankle, the right heel, the sole of the right foot. Bringing your right hand down. Inhale, carve a line with your nose, look forwards. And as you exhale, reach forwards with your fingertips. You can use your hands to help you, of course. You can use your hands to help you. But this reach forwards can mean that your bum can go back, and we're working to, with control, land on our bottom. Use your hands to help you, always. Come round to a seated position, and we want to find a place that we feel we can access our right foot. So I personally sit cross-legged and then bring my right knee towards the sky. If you've got tighter hips or lower back, grab yourself a pillow or a blanket, prop yourself up, help yourself out. And when you're ready to grab hold of your right toes, this is where naked feet come in handy. Your left hand grabs your big toe, your right hand grabs your other toes. You're going to, in alternate directions, move them up and down. So we're working to stretch out the toes, increase their range of motion here. And then your left hand grabs your first two toes, and then continue up and down. And then grabbing another toe. So we're just working our way through the foot. And then final one. Lovely. From here, we're going to find some rotations of the ankle. So everybody's approach to this movement will be different because of various hip mobility and flexibility that we all have. So take some time to really find a shape that works for you, that benefits your practice. So it might look very different from what I'm doing. So, take some time to support your knee with various pillows and blocks or blankets. Yeah. So what we're working to do is to hold up our right shin using your right hand. And your left hand is going to hold the toes so that you can circle the ankle to its full range, its full potential of movement. I've just noticed as I've been sitting here, I've started to slouch around the shoulders, which is normal, but gently encourage that lift through the spine. If you're feeling extra hungry for some toe mobility today, you can work to thread your fingers in between each toe. This takes time. It can feel a really weird sensation if you've never done it before, but it's great. Something to try out. Circling the other way if you haven't already. And then lowering your right foot down, finding a cross-legged position. Take some time to unthread your fingers. And then just finishing with a press. So not pressing too hard around the bony bits, but finding the fleshy bits of skin and muscle that you can really press around the sole of the feet, the heel, the balls of the feet. Great. And let's take the other foot. So starting with our alternate up and down. So starting with one toe. And then adding in your second toe. You'll notice that stretching your toes out in this way, some toes feel more of a stretch than others, so maybe spend a bit more time here. And then working towards your final set of toes going up and down. Coming into some ankle mobilisations, so reminding yourself to support yourself with a nice stack of pillows and blankets if you feel you need it. Catching hold of your left leg, returning to this lift in the spine, holding onto the toes, and finding a full circle, full range of movement. So as we come into these circles, we are looking to find like a continuous circle of the ankle. You might feel, or you might find that it feels a little bit clunky. It feels more like a square today, but trying to iron out those corners, iron out those clunky bits to make the circle. Going the other way if you like, also threading your fingers between each toe if you like. Lifting up through the shoulders and the chest. One more cycle of breath. Lowering the foot down and taking a moment to press. So the more you practice this form of self-massage, the more you'll learn what feels good, and the more trust you'll have in your own quality and power of touch. You'll learn over time, like the bits that feel really yummy to press, as long as we stay soft around the bony bits, so the ankle and the major joints. Okay, and we're going to finish today coming onto our knees. So finding a toe stretch, I invite you to rock yourself forward. Have your knees underneath your hips, so a little bit of space between both of your knees, and working towards curling all of your toes underneath yourself. This is really, really great for opening up the soles of the feet. If this feels really intense for you today, because it is a big finish, keep your fingers on the floor, take some weight off of the feet. And over time, we work towards really dropping down, giving the full weight of your body into the toes. Find a place for your hands to rest comfortably on your lap, perhaps interlacing your fingers, palms up towards the sky, closing the eyes. Breathing through this crazy thing I'm making you doing. Two more cycles of breath. And slowly lowering your fingertips to the floor so you can untuck your toes behind you. Coming to sit on the tops of the feet or in any place of rest. Taking a few moments just to notice, firstly, how your feet are feeling, ankles, feet and toes. I'm sure they are loving all of this time that you've given them. And then shifting to how you're feeling as a human being. Let's bring the palms of the hands together, lifting the thumb up to your third eye. Thank you so much for sharing your time and your energy with me today. Have a beautiful rest of your day. Namaste.